You've probably caught it before, where you ask AI a question and it gives you an answer. And when you go ahead to, verify the answer, you now discover it has actually made everything up. You discover that what you're working on, if it's an example, a math problem, the old formula was wrong, or probably the code it gives you was invented as well. And maybe what you checked on, maybe the facts did not just exist at all anywhere on the internet. There's a name for this, and they call it hallucination. Now, the thing is, it is not a bug, but it is exactly how the machine is built to behave. It was not a mistake. But the thing is, people that use this, they don't have any idea why this happens every time. And here is a bigger problem. If you're using AI for real work, probably for client delivery, for sales emails, or you're using it to create content or to make research, hallucination is not just going to waste your time, but it can even put your reputation on the line. And today I'm going to show you the exact method I use to stop AI from guessing anything I'm working on. So it's going to work on facts I give it, and not just facts it imagines this time around. The difference between this is like you're asking a student to pass a test from memory, and like you probably to just cram this test, or you're giving this student a textbook and you're telling them to work on this or to write this exam. So I'm going to give you 3 things why AI hallucination in the first place is something that always happens and should happen. And I'm also going to give you a prompt structure that's going to force it to use your data and not just the training. So lastly, I'm also going to make a live demo where the same question produces a generic guess in one video and an expert level answer in the other as well. So if you're new here, my name is Jude. You can call me Nirvana. And for the last 4 years, I've built AI systems for agencies and startups, including influencing business owners to work as their AI marketing automation specialists. So this is day 2 of the 5 layers of AI series. And we're going to cover this for the next 60 days. And I can guarantee that if you can follow this in the next 60 days while you work along with me, you'll be able to understand right from the foundation level to even building autonomous system. So if you haven't watched day 1 yet, you can pause this, you can go back to day 1. It's not long. Yesterday was about how you talk to this machine, and today is more about how you feed it and what exactly you feed this. And the thing is, these two work together. And by the end of this video, I can assure you that you're going to have a structure that you can use on any task that is going to get you specific and accurate, verifiable output as well. So this time around, you're not going to, you don't have to fast check every single response you get from AI, because AI is not going to make any of these things up. This is still on layer 1. It's a part 2 of layer 1, and I call it grounding. Most people out here, trying to write better questions for AI every single time. But I believe this is the wrong move. You need to stop asking AI questions, but you have to start giving it answers instead. The best prompt in the world is going to fail if the AI doesn't understand or doesn't have more like a source material to draw from. So a boring prompt will succeed if you feed it the right facts before you even ask it a question. It's more of this is how the whole game works. Whatever prompt you give it in a very good structure, like what we have in the first class, which is based on the 5 steps for like basically the 5 steps framework where you can use to prompt. If you have something like this, you can be rest assured that if you have something like this, it is enough. You don't have to feed it anymore than just having context, a particular place where it draws from, where it draws examples from. I'm going to, explain this very well. Yesterday, I told you AI is a prediction engine. And that same engine is exactly why it hallucinates every single time. You need to know that AI is trained on the entire internet. That means it basically knows a little bit about everything, but it knows almost nothing as well. Like it doesn't know something specific about your own particular business. It doesn't know your industry. It doesn't know about your client's situation or problem. So when you ask it something specific, it doesn't have enough data for it to know, what it has to say. So, but the issue here is that it doesn't tell you that I don't know. It just predicts an answer or predict how the answer is going to look like. So sometimes you need to know that prediction might come out right, and sometimes it will also come out wrong. And it sounds equally confident. Any single time he's actually saying this, it's going to sound confident. And that is the trap about it. So you need to know that AI isn't lying to you to actually deceive you. It's lying because you are not giving it the truth to work from. Now I'm going to show you from here. A few months ago, I was building a system for a startup in the aerospace industry, specifically for these orbital mirrors. And I'll be honest with you, I did not know anything about orbital mirrors. I've never thought about them before. And in fact, I couldn't have had a way to actually explain this to any little kid. But now, if I had to just open ChatGPT and ask it again how to write a marketing plan, I would have gotten, a generic industry copy like, any junior writer can actually produce. But that was not going to win the contract I was aiming for. So instead, I did this. I took every white paper they had. I had to take every technical document I could find online, the founder's interview, every mission statement, and I fed every single thing to AI. And I told it, based on only what is in this document, I want you to write a specific marketing plan for this industry, or for this company rather. And what came out there was not generic anymore. It was more of in their voice. I was using their language. I was using more of their technical positioning, and I more like sounded like a specialist in this case. And it sounded like I know more about aerospace. And this was because I gave the AI the textbook, and I let it teach me before it even spoke to me in the first place. So, and this is the same method I'm about to show you, and I'm going to reference a particular thing. So the first thing here, there's a structure behind all this. There are basically three parts, which I call this for every grounded prompt, you pass through these three parts every single time. The first one is a data block. Let me show you this. I'm going to run this. It comes up. So what you see here, the first one, we'll just load this directly here. The first one is a data block. This is where you paste the textbook, or let me say white paper, or a transcript, a service guide, or maybe even your past emails or case studies, project notes like that, or anything that just contains facts of what you want to use the AI for. And the second one is now the anchor. This is after the data, you need to be able to write a sentence, something like, use only the information provided above. If the answer isn't in the text, say you don't know. So I'm giving the AI a particular rule to also follow. And this single line, this sentence I just gave it, does 80% of the work, because it locks this AI into your data. And it tells it that, guessing is not allowed in this case. And the last one here is the tax. Now, anytime you are working with this, you need to give it an actual instruction. An example of the one I use here is, I'm going to say, based on the data above, build me a 3-tier pricing model, or I tell it, based on data above, give me the 5 main objections these clients will actually raise. So the idea behind this is, I'm going to give it a data. It's going to have a data, it's going to have anchor, and it's going to have the tax. This structure and the order is what matters, because if you ask a question before pasting this particular data in, it's the AI starts predicting every single thing before it even reads. And in this case, it's going to get lost. But if you follow this particular process, you get to see that it is going to work very well. And you're also going to receive outputs, results, or basically responses that you could that it could take from what you've inputted, what you used to train it. You can understand that AI is going to take from it basically. This is hard. This is easy. So what I show you here is an example of how the data and the tax works. So the first one is the data block, where I told you can paste every single thing. You can paste the case study, the transcript, the service guide, the past emails, or probably your agency's about page, or the last winning sales, 5 sales emails that you sent. And the next one is now the anchor, which are going to give it a specific rule to follow, which is use only the information provided above. And if the answer isn't there, say you don't know. I added every single thing here, so you can check out. The last thing is the task. That is the main action, what it's supposed to do, having all these details in. So based on the data above, write a 3-sentence code email that references their stated goals. And you send this. You're going to attach the file. So what I'm going to do now is, let me show you both versions and how it works. I'm going to show you the ways people run this. All right, so let me show you both versions. Let me use ChatGPT.
Let's just create a new.
So the first one is the wrong way people actually use this. And I'm going to say something like,
Should I price my AI automation services?
and it gives me a response like this. This is a lot. When you look at this, you can see it's saying things like it depends on your market. You can consider the value of your proposition, and also if it's an hourly versus a project base. This is basically useless. If you ask me, this is useless. Now, what is happening here is that the AI is guessing because you gave it nothing to work from. So the AI is just giving guesses. It's just trying to think of the best way, the best thing to do. Now you watch the difference from what is going to happen in the second test I'm going to run now. Let's use Gemini here. So now we are on a fresh chart, and I'm going to paste a detailed article that I have prepared in advance. Something with real numbers, real margin logics, and real frameworks that I have put together. So I'm going to type use only
This is the rule I'm giving it now. The pricing logic and numbers from the
texts. All right. So I can also tell it, if something isn't in the text, just say you don't know. Then I'm now going to give it
the task to do, which is based on this data, build me a model for an agency selling AI
lead intake system
to, well, so let me say solar installation
on clips. I can
also
also
tell it to include the
specific profit margins
or margin numbers from text.
So while using this, since I have a pricing model already on my drive, I can just add it to it. So let's just pick from my drive. You should have some existing one here I can pick from. So the recent one I did I can just pick from it. That's the solar targeted pricing. So I pick from this and I add it into it here. So the output is going to give us, you're going to see we've had different from what we had here, which just keeps saying a whole lot of things here, and it's not sure which one I have planned. So what this is going to give us, you can look at the output it's giving us now. One thing about this is that I keep saying this, and I said in my previous class, this is saving a lot of token, because this time around we can see something as long and detailed as this, that we're not still sure on what to give it. Because what? It's just guessing. It's just making guesses, making predictions on what will be the best. But in this case, I've given it a particular price and what I use as a setup fee and a monthly recurring revenue, and is able to use that to build a better one for me when I want to target these solar businesses. So it's giving us real numbers, real logic, and real tier based on the framework I've given it. So it is not inventing this out of thin air. I could actually send this to a client tomorrow, and it will hold up under questioning. We will be able to use this specific one, which is just a simple tide as 2,500 and 500, rather than it's giving me a whole bunch of details here, telling me I could give a simple chatbot this. No. And this is quite a lot. This is quite a lot. If I had this as my more like where I'm getting my details from, if I had this saved, we would have used this. But because this is just getting from the internet, just getting from anything randomly, and I'm not open to learn this time around. I'm open to make use of the references I have initially, which I use. Like, it's more of you having rules in your agency. You have a specific price that you give your client, you give your customers, and in this case, you are letting it follow that same rule. So you could be using the same AI, you could be using the same model, but it's going to give you two completely different outputs in this case. So the difference is just the fact that I gave it here a textbook, me just giving it just a straightforward question, asking it to just, give me what I could use as a pricing for solar businesses. But in this time around, I have something I follow already, and I'm telling it to follow just that. Okay. So one quick technical note before I let you go now is that every AI has a limit on how much textbook it can actually read at one time. And this is what we call context windows. You can think of this as a DEX. A small DEX will fit a few number of documents. A bigger desk fits, a folder. It can fit a folder, but every desk has a limit. So if you pile up too many books on the desk, you can assume that this AI will start forgetting what is at the bottom of each pages that you have here. However, in the further series we're going to work on in layer 3 and layer 4 of this series, I'm going to show you how to undo massive amount of data using something I call RAG. That is retrieval augmented generation. And this is where the system will pull only the relevant pages from a much bigger library this time around. So, but for now, your job is, you only need to feed the AI what it actually needs for the specific task anytime you are working on it. So at this stage of using AI, just afterwards, walk through giving it just that specific thing. You don't need to give it multiple documents to analyze at once. You can give it something very simple for it to just make reference of just that information. So before I let you go, I want you to think about this in respect to your business. What is like the textbook that you can use for your brand or for your agency or you as for the skill you are offering? Is it based on your past clients' emails? Is it, let me say, you have a service guide, you have a case study, you have your sales calls, transcripts, or let me say the way you onboard new customers, basically. All of that, you can put it together in a textbook material, and you just feed into the AI and let the AI take it from there. As usual, I have a resource guide I have made for every single person. So here's the thing. Here is the task I'm going to give you for today, which is you should pick one document that captures something specific about your work. This could be, how you write to your clients. For example, this could also be like, as a content creator now, because what I used here is something as simple as this to make you understand the pattern and why adding a lot of context and examples could actually help you better. So as a content creator, you could see this, write a YouTube script about AI. So what I have here is going to give an output of, okay, hey everyone, welcome back to this channel. Today we're going to be talking about AI. AI is transforming. No. But this I'm going to paste a transcript rather of a 20-minute rant, that I've recorded, and I will tell it to use my voice and the point I've made above to write a 5-minute script instead. So it's going to give me something better. Most people using AI right now are using it wrong. Not in the beginner's way. This one feels better. This one feels more personal. It feels like I'm using my voice. And I'm having a story behind it. Like 3 weeks ago, I had a client who I'm using my voice. Nobody else sounds like this. So it's quite different from me just using buzzword. AI is transforming the world as we know it, unlocking new possibilities for. No. A lot of details I can reference. This is more like, what I had here for this is like a moat for content creators. Here is more like a textbook that sales specialists could follow to get scripts every single time. Another one for agency owners, like the example I gave, help me build a pricing model for my agency. It gives me things that he got online. But from the past contracts I've made use of, I tell it to you, I paste the 5, client contracts and the delivery documents I use, and I tell it to only use that data, and it should build a 3-tier pricing model based on what I've actually, be using to deliver and to charge clients. So you can see the output it gave me here based on my past contracts. Here's the structure I should use for this particular delivery, giving it. So it's going to take from real numbers. This time around, it is my past work is a textbook, while the AI will not just price, my business better, but it's going to price it better than, the contracts I've even had in the past. So than the one I've added is going to give it a better one. So you can take this as a task as well for yourself, where you open Gemini, you open ChatGPT, and you just paste the document inside, you give it the anchor line, you can give it one small task that, it uses as data, and you yourself will be able to see the differences between them. So you got a business owner, and your business has, this knowledge where, or you have the knowledge of your business where you can just put it down somewhere. And the thing is that you've not just bothered to automate it. I can tell you that the first step to automating anything outside there is to first get all the things you have in your head into paper so that AI can read it. So a recommendation I could give you, one more thing before I go, is if you want to understand why behind everything I just showed you, why AI hallucinates, what is actually happening inside the machine, And just to understand how hallucination goes and how to bypass it, there's a video I will tell you should watch tonight, which can be based on what I'm probably going to add here as well. So I saw this video online. It's from a channel called Computer File or Computer Feel. Anyway, it sounds. So this video is on AI hallucination. And when I first watched it, it changed how I write prompts. It changed every single thing, because once you understand the failure mode at this at a technical level, you get to understand that grounding stop a lot of hallucination. It starts feeling like you want to give something legit. Like, that's basically the only logical thing you can do. So this video, 8 minutes in this video, you should be able to understand every single thing that you need to get more about AI since you've watched this. But that one is a better understanding. So you can watch this before you watch my next video. And yeah, so tomorrow is day 3, and we're going to talk about the question nobody in the AI space wants to answer. That is, why none of this works if you don't have a niche. So you can decide, you can actually think, okay, all right, I'm going to start using this. But if you don't have a niche to actually follow, you can have like the best prompt, like every single thing we've explained. You can have the best textbook, you can have everything, you can have the best framework for prompting, but you still hit zero with every single client you get. And that is because you are trying everything you are pushing it to everyone. But tomorrow, we're going to address that on the day 3 of this series. And yeah, I'll see you on day 3 then.